At 86, John Wayne's son has finally broken his silence and confirmed what many fans and Hollywood insiders have long suspected about the legendary actor. His larger-than-life persona on screen was only part of the story. For decades, Ethan Wayne, John Wayne's youngest son and now a guardian of his father's legacy, remained mostly private about the intimate realities behind the Duke's tough guy image. But now, reflecting on his father's life and legacy in a recent interview, Ethan has confessed that behind the bold swagger, booming voice, and classic cowboy hat was a man who carried deep regret, unspoken pain, and a surprising level of vulnerability. While millions around the world admired John Wayne as the embodiment of American strength, stoicism, and independence, Ethan reveals that his father often struggled with the weight of that persona, feeling trapped by the very image that made him iconic. According to Ethan, the Duke was a man who lived by a strict moral code, but he wasn't immune to self-doubt and emotional distance, particularly when it came to his family. "My father gave everything to his work," Ethan admitted, "but there were moments, quiet, rare moments, when you could see that he wondered if he gave too little to the people around him." As a father, John Wayne was admired, even feared, but often distant. He demanded discipline, strength, and self-reliance, expecting his children to live up to the same ideals he portrayed on screen. Ethan now confesses that growing up under the shadow of such a towering figure wasn't easy. It came with pressure, expectations, and little room for emotional openness. But what we all suspected, and what Ethan confirms now, is that John Wayne's toughness wasn't just a performance, it was a shield to hide fear, vulnerability, and the emotional scars of a man who grew up in the unforgiving early 20th century, survived financial hardship, multiple divorces, and ultimately battled cancer for over a decade. He never showed weakness in public, not because he didn't feel it, but because he was raised to believe that showing emotion was a sign of failure. Ethan also acknowledged what fans have whispered for years, that John Wayne was aware of the controversy surrounding some of his political views and past remarks, and that, in his final years, he regretted the way certain statements were received, even if he never publicly walked them back. He was complicated, Ethan says. He had strong beliefs, but he also had the capacity to change. He just didn't always know how to say it. As Ethan nears the twilight of his own life, he says he wants people to remember his father, not as a perfect man, but as a flawed, deeply driven human being who believed in honor, loyalty, and doing what he thought was right, even when it cost him. He remembers the quiet moments, fishing trips, long car rides, late-night talks when the Duke wasn't acting, but just being a dad, vulnerable, thoughtful, and sometimes even unsure. He carried a lot more than people knew, Ethan admitted, and I think, deep down, he hoped people would see past the cowboy and realize there was a man under that hat who wanted to be understood. So now, at 86, with nothing left to prove, John Wayne's son has finally given voice to what many always felt, that the real John Wayne was as complex, conflicted, and human as the roles he played were heroic. And perhaps, in that quiet confession, the legend becomes even more real.